So next up we have Jessica Seuss, and she is the Digital Partnership Manager for Oxford University Museums. She is part of a small joint museums team that coordinates collaborative activity, often acting as a guerrilla unit to identify and seize high-impact and collaborative opportunities. Since the museums launched public Wi-Fi on their sites in early 2015, Jess has been leading on a number of new mobile initiatives to enhance gallery experience, and she is going to be talking about animating scientific collections.
Hi. So I work for the Oxford University Museums. If you don't know them, Google them. And I'm going to talk today about an app we built for the Museum of the History of Science in Oxford that it holds historic collections of scientific instruments. You can this is the basement gallery, and it gives you a feel of what the museum is like. So it's got some amazing stuff. We've got chemical apparatus and microscopes, and that blackboard at the top is a blackboard that Einstein wrote on. He was giving a lecture in Oxford explaining the expansion of the universe, and they decided they weren't going to rub it out. They just put it in the museum instead. So really wonderful collections, but as you can see, it's actually quite low on interpretation. So we really thought a good space to think about adding some additional content using mobile. And we got some money from the university, about £50,000 to do an R&D project looking at mobile in all our museums and how we could use it to create heads-up experiences that engage people with the collections and try to avoid that kind of heads-down phone experience. And we did a lot of research, and we've published that online, so if you want to look at that. And it culminated in a prototype app for this museum. And then we got a little bit of extra money from the museum to make it a product, and we launched it about 3 weeks ago. So it's still very, very new, and it's on iPhone and Android because our visitors are actually about 50-50 iPhone and Android. It's called Pocket Curator because one of the things we discovered, when people come around the museum, the people who always have the best time are the people who had a tour with one of our curators. And the way they do their tours, where they pick, a couple of objects that they really like and tell you 2 or 3 really interesting tidbits of information about them. And obviously, it would be great if everyone who came to the museum could have a tour with one of our curators, but they can't. So that was one of the things that we wanted to try and get into the app. And then it's Pocket Curator, listen, watch, try, because there's listening, audio content, obviously. There's a few videos. We try to avoid video because of that heads down kind of activity, but sometimes you do need to, especially with scientific instruments and they're meant to do something, you do need to see them and try, because what we think is really special about this app is that we try to find ways to let you try the scientific instruments on display, because they are meant to do something, and there's no better way to understand that than trying it for yourself. So this is the main interface. It's pretty standard kind of interface. There's 3 floors in the gallery. Click into a gallery, you got a floor plan, and there's 2 to 3 objects on each floor that we featured. And obviously you can see the objects and you can pick the object that you want to pick. So I've picked an object. So I was going to live demo, but I had a meltdown earlier, so slides will do. We pick an object, and we'll have multiple pieces of audio, between 2 and 4. Most of them are 3. I don't know why I picked this one with only 2, because this is where we were thinking we want to imitate that experience you have with the curator, where they tell you 2 or 3 separate tidbits of information that you can really hold on to, rather than having a long piece of audio. And so that's what we try to achieve with the audio. But the most important thing about the app is the try it yourself interactives, and we've got 8 of those in the app. Just to give you a taste, so this is a decimal clock, a French revolutionary decimal clock that tells time in decimal. And so the interactive lets you try the clock for yourself to tell different. You're gonna play for me. To convert between decimal and analog time, but I don't think it is going to play for me, actually. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, second meltdown of the day. Okay, so it's not going to play for me. I'll just have to skip it. But the idea being, so you can either turn the globe, turn the, the hands on any of the clocks, and it'll convert between the different times. Another one, so this is a Lodestone. It's a really big display in the middle of the basement gallery, and it has no interpretation. It just looks like that. And you can't actually see the Lodestone. It's inside that crown, because the Lodestone is like a magnetic rock, a natural magnetic rock. And this was used to just demonstrate the properties of a lodestone. So again, we've done another interactive, which is not going to play, no. So again, it's a screen-based interactive. It's very disappointing, where you do the lodestone, you grab those keys and insert them at the top, and then you can wind the keys up, and then you add the weights to it, and as in the demonstration, once it got to a certain weight, the lodestone would drop the weights because that would be the maximum magnetism, and so you have that kind of interaction on your phone as well. So we quite liked those, but actually what we really wanted was not to have people looking at their screen, but have them looking up. So probably our favorite interactive is actually for the sextant, which sailors used to use to determine their latitude at sea by measuring the angle of the sun at noon, and then based on that angle, they'd look them up in an almanac and find out their latitude. Another video that won't work. Yeah, so we actually get you can see this is my home, not the museum. We get the user to do it. So they hold their phone themselves, and they're prompted to find the horizon and select the horizon. And then once they found the horizon, they're prompted to, and obviously the water helps them locate the horizon. And then they need to tilt their phone upwards to find the sun and line the sign up with the horizon and select that. And then the app will talk you through how it's going to calculate the angle and then look that angle up in an almanac to find your latitude. And it always finds the latitude of Oxford, and the sun is actually at the right angle every day to find your latitude at Oxford at noon. So yeah, we really like that one because of the physical interaction that you get, and so it helps really understand the physicality of what they would have done to do that. And then just this last one, which we also really like, so this is Marconi's wireless apparatus. He used it to demonstrate wireless. So he'd stand at one side of the room, he'd create a spark, and it would ring a bell in the other side of the room. And so we let our visitors do that as well. They use image recognition to capture the apparatus. So they take over the apparatus, and then they're able to transmit. And when they transmit it, it rings a bell that's in the gallery. So they kind of like recreate Marconi's actual experiment in the gallery. So that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of the app that we built. I hope that was... I'm just sad my videos didn't work. Oh.
They're on your hard drive? Because you might be able to pull one up to just play, like out of instead of in the PowerPoint.
Yeah, they probably are on my hard drive, but I don't know where I put them. It's too hard now. Yeah.
So we have a little bit of time left because you both get great points for finishing quickly, which is usually not what happens. Is for you're like, so you guys did very well with that. But, so we're open for questions. Does anyone have questions for either of our presenters? So back here.
So you talked about creating the app for the sextant so that so you have to be like look up and engage. What do you do about forcing the visitor to put down the app and then actually look at the object?
So before I'm going to just repeat the question for the recording. So the question was that Jess had brought up the idea that the app was designed to get people to look up, and the question was, what do you do about forcing people to put the app down? How do you do that?
Good question. Because we did think about that a lot. So that kind of look up, we've tried to integrate throughout the app. So with obviously the focus on audio, and within the audio we've been include a lot of prompts to encourage the visitor to look at like specific details of the object, so encourage them to look closer. With the interactives, most of them are triggered by image recognition. So again, we're hoping to, the idea of being, look at the object, capture the object before you then go into the app. And but I suppose, yeah, in terms of putting it down afterwards, so we only picked 7 objects for the museum. I mean, that wasn't only a money thing, obviously that was part of it, but also the idea being that, you know, we'd feature objects, and it would just be a small part of your visit, and then hopefully, you know, that would trigger enough kind of interest that you would then be encouraged to look around. So, you know, there's not something for like every object. It's quite a small thing, so you won't spend hours doing it. Yeah.
Other questions? Yes.
For the Florence walking tours or the family tour, what are you using for location awareness?
So the question was to the Florence walking tour and what you're using for location awareness.
It's being a tour around the city. We use the GPS coordinate. We use the GPS coordinate and to walk around. This is how we do it.
Yes.
For the Florence tour, is that privately funded? Because everything is offered for free. I'm wondering, is there revenue, or is this like are the museums funding this?
So the question was about the funding for this tour and whether or not it was privately funded, because it is available for free.
Yes. These first 2 itineraries were done for free. We partnered with the City of Florence, and we were a technical sponsor. We put all the technological side, the social media, the website, and the app. And now they have got a little bit of a funds from the Tuscan region to go on, and they hope to find sponsor going on, because everything is for free, yes. But we are just trying to set up a model, so we'll see. It's not simple to engage kids. So we don't know if this model will work, because we don't know. We are trying in the next 5 itineraries to have more fun. So we want the game part being more present, because we know that that's the best way to involve them.
Great. Other questions? All right. Well, if there are no other questions, then I think we can wrap up the session. So thank you both.
Thank you.